Sam, tell us why you're running for Congress.
Ken Jackson, my dear friend, how are you?
I'm fine.
And hello, folks. I'm running, my adult life has been about service to our community. When I was younger, the community helped raise me, and I felt committed to continue and return it and pay that forward. Been involved for a long time, as far as with the community service that I've done with the Westcott Youth Organization as a youth and a teenager and a young man, then getting involved in the Democratic Party as a committee person, block captain, then ultimately running for office myself. And I ran for the county legislature back in 1989 is when I ran and served through the 90s. Then my plant, where I worked for General Motors, closed down. And I had to relocate and go to Messina, New York, to finish out my years there. Came back home and decided, looking around, was working. And I ran for the state assembly and won and served 3 terms. I was elected to my 3rd term in the state assembly. So then at that point, I said, I'm never going to run for office again. Especially for a 2-year term situation. Started working for the state. It became a commissioner of the Office of Temporary Disability Assistance. And then I retired from there. I left there, went to SUNY Oswego, and I was serving there as the special advisor to the president of the college. And she retired, and I retired. And then, looking at what's going on the world scene and Congress and just our country, period, I looked at, I was listening, and I saw the folks who were running, who I'm familiar with, most of them. And I said, what do you do? Do you sit back and just complain and let things go down the way they're going down? And I said, no. And so I talked with some folks, and we decided that I was going to run. And here I am. So that's the long version of why I'm running for Congress. And again, it's to try to make a difference.
What do you see as the primary issues within this country right now?
Oh man, there's a lot of primary issues within this country. And one of the biggest things is our economy and how that's driven and the effects that's having on everyone. Talking about inflation and all that is based on that. And we have to, again, it's about jobs, creating jobs. It's about business. It's about creating businesses and sustaining businesses, keeping the ones that we have, because they're the ones that provide the jobs. So, you can't have one without the other. We have to coalesce and make sure that they work together. And when I say jobs, not just a regular job, not because, people, jobs, and when we talk about poverty is tied to the economy and the jobs with that. And I always say, the best way to get someone out of poverty is to give them a job. But you can't just give them any old kind of job, because there are a lot of working poor. There are people who are working every day that are still living in poverty. So we have to get them a good job, paying job with benefits, hopefully a union job. I'm a big trade unionist. I believe in the union movement, across this country, across the world. But, that's important. So the economy is a big thing for me. Then you have to look at our healthcare process and what's happening with that. When I say healthcare affordable and accessible to everyone, regardless of your status here in this country. If you're sick, if you need medical attention, you should be able to get it. And also with that, mental health. Mental health is big. We turn our back on that. You see a lot of problems that are going on. A lot of these mass killings that are happening. People need help. And, we have to address that and to make sure that we're there for them and that folks have the wraparound and supportive services that they needed. So those are the biggest things. We have to look at the environment and, our carbon footprint with that. We have a lot of things. And now the great thing about that, when we're dealing with the situation like the Green New Deal and the different things that the president is putting forth and Congress is putting forth and working on right now around the environment. It's going from a carbon-based, fossil fuel-driven status to going to clean energy. And with that, now we have to train folks and teach people how to go from dependent on the fossil fuels into clean energy, wind, solar, creating electricity. And now we have to take those jobs and again, train people on the job. This is where the New Deal comes in with training programs, apprenticeship programs, and that good paying technical jobs. With that, you have to look at education. What's happening with our educational? The prices are so high, to get a good, decent education that I look at and I think that we should be, doing free education, free college with the state and the SUNY, CUNY, those kind of things. We don't have CUNY up here, but down in New York City, I know they do. But we really need to look at that. We used to be close to that. We need to get there now, because we talk about student debt relief, and at the point that we don't address where we're at right now, we're going to create a whole new level of students owing a lot of people a lot of debt. So we have to address that as well. So when you say, what are the concerns that are facing this country as it is? I mean, you have to look at the human rights issue, the LGBTQ issues, the public safety issues, agriculture, farmers creating and delivering fresh food. That's another thing. We have a food desert here, in central New York. And we have all these farms. So we have to support the farmers and make sure that they're doing okay. Especially the small family farmers. We have to keep them going. And again, it's just goes on. So when you say what are the things that are affecting us and the things that are in front of this country, and again, central New York, that's the start of it. That's just scratching the surface, Ken.
And my final question, what differentiates you from the other candidates running?
What differentiates me from them is my experience and my leadership and my compassion. I love people, and I have 14 years legislative experience alone. I retired from General Motors. I'm a blue collar guy. I'm a tool and die maker, went through an apprenticeship myself. So when you talk about these apprenticeships and new jobs and training, I'm a product of that. And I feel real good about it. I've been endorsed by several unions and businesses as well. The United Auto Workers, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the CSEA, SEIU 1199, the Sheet Metal Workers, Unite Here, and also the Brotherhood of of Operating Engineers, as well as the NatPAC, which is a national realtors group. So, I feel good about that. And, I have the momentum is the election is Tuesday. So you have to vote by Tuesday, the 23rd. But I feel good about what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.